I think one of the most powerful things for any human being to understand is that their problems, their setbacks, are more slingshots than they are negativity. As somebody that's gone through his fair share of things that sucked, that were hard, that made me say like, yo, why is this happening to me? And then I've lived life after that. I've been able to see that those things were never like a why me type of thing. They were always a for me. There were always something propelling me to where I was supposed to be, things I didn't even know about yet. I like to say problems aren't negativity, they're just slingshots. So they're pulling you back, yes. Yes, it feels like you're going in that negative direction, but it's just charging you up to propel you to wherever you're meant to go, okay? I want to start this video with a quick quote. And if you don't know me, my name is Jamar. I do a bunch of videos on helping people become the best version of themselves, find their passion. But I want to start this video off with a quote that I actually put in my book that's coming out in a couple months. But it's a super powerful quote. And I thought it came from Marcus Aurelius, but it actually is a Zen proverb. And Marcus Aurelius has another quote that's very similar. But I'm going to write it out really quick. Obstacles don't block the path, they are the path. And once I heard this quote, I was like, it finally makes sense. This is what I was trying to say. Every time we have obstacles, it's only putting us upon the path we're actually meant for. One of the big illusions human beings have to deal with is that we really don't know what's going on. We really don't know the future. We don't really know our purpose. But yet we will look at problems or negativity just as that without realizing that it could be preparing us. Okay? So if you go to the weight room, for example, and you only lift like 1 pound weights, are you going to get stronger? It's through the pain. Initially, like pain means negativity, right? We don't want to feel pain, but it's actually through that pain that allows us. If we only go through the good, if we only have satisfaction, we never grow, okay? If we programmed our whole life to only do the things that made us quote unquote happy, like immediately, we would become fat, we would become unfit, we would become lazy. It's through the things that that in the short term seem negative that actually propel us for the long term. So we have to get out and thinking that whatever we feel immediately is the full way to look at it. Just because it feels negative doesn't mean it is negative. Oftentimes the obstacle isn't blocking the path, it is the path. So whatever you're going through, understand it's preparing you for something that may be what you're meant for in the future. For example, if you haven't watched any of my videos, you don't know about this. If I'm new to you, hopefully this video blows up. If not, it's cool. I still enjoy making the video. But if you haven't watched any of my other videos, one of the big things that happened to me that first got me to even start thinking like this was what happened to me. Basically, I was diagnosed with cancer. I can't spell diagnosed. How do I spell it in my notes? Diagnosed with cancer. I was diagnosed with cancer, what was I, like 19? Diagnosed with cancer 19. I'm 25 now. It's been 6 years. And the first thing that I said once I was diagnosed with cancer was, why me? Why is this happening to me? I was going to my sophomore year of college, had one of the best freshman years of my life. Like, I'm on top of the world. Like, I'm an 18, 19-year-old kid living life. Life is amazing. And then I have to ask myself, why me? It doesn't make any sense. In fact, at this point in my life, when I was thinking about what I wanted to be when I grew up, I was trying to figure out or find a career path where I could help people. But the moment I was trying to help people, I was diagnosed with cancer. It didn't make any sense. And back to what we said before, the obstacles aren't blocking the path. They are the path. And at this point, I thought, man, I'm going to college. I'm making all these strides. This thing is blocking my path. What the heck? It doesn't make any sense. Lo and behold, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I remember the first night I was in the hospital, I fully realized that I was kind of living life the wrong way. I also realized that I didn't realize how valuable every single second was in life. And when I was dealing with the question of what I wanted to be when I grow up, I realized I wasn't taking advantage of every moment. I was doing things for goals, for approval, for all these other things, but I wasn't taking advantage of every moment. So I told myself if I was going to go about, if I ever didn't have cancer or was allowed to live life and not be at the hospital bed, I was going to find something that I love to do. And through that, I was able, and long story short, I ended up being diagnosed with cancer. I'll live with for the rest of my life, but I still get to maintain a pretty regular life, even though I'm far from regular, but I get to live life, right? And so with that opportunity, I have this game-changing mindset for the rest of my life, because every single day I take this pill that treats my cancer, and every single day I remember to live life to the fullest. Every day to remember at any moment, know how dope it is. I now know, like, yo, you got to go for what you want. You got to do what you love to do. I have this game-changing perspective every day because I take this pill that reminds me, like, oh, yo, at any moment it can be going away. And I think once I realized that, my entire life changed. So without the problem, without the obstacle, I wouldn't have found my path. I probably would be doing a job I hate right now. But because of that, I was like, no, I gotta find. Now I travel the country, and I don't even want to go to, because I was going to explain my full story for every part of the journey of this thing. But I'm living a pretty dope life now because I had an obstacle. It wasn't blocking my path, it was creating the path. And not only was I diagnosed with cancer, after this happened, I remember in college, and I want to explain something because it's going to show you that through every step of these problems happening in your life, it's creating more and more potential and things in your life. And so before I even go into more, how do I explain it? More explanation of my story to prove my point, I want to bring up another quote that's been pivotal in my life. In fact, I actually interviewed this person once when I was a sophomore in college. He was the head coach of my basketball team, the Temple. Not my I wasn't on the team. At my college, he was the head coach. But he has this pretty famous quote. And I got to interview him, but he has this quote from a speech he made. But I think it illustrates that these problems, these challenges are needed for us to grow as a people, as a human race. In his quote, Aaron McKee said, tough times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create, and I'm going to do this one in red, weak men. And when you understand this concept, I think it's a pretty crazy thing to think about because it kind of sucks. But it's tough times create strong men, which create easy times. So for us to get the good stuff, we have to go through the tough things that create us. But the easy time is what creates weak men. And so when you realize this, you'll realize, yeah, it's cool to have these cool things, to have these luxuries, but without constant problems, challenges, we'll just get back to the things we don't want, not becoming the best version of ourselves. I don't think this is just with men. This is with every single person. It's within the problems. It's within the challenges that sculpt us, that prepare us, that make us. And if we ignore them, if we just take pity in ourselves, if we're just mad at the world and we don't see it as an opportunity, then we'll never become the person that gets the things we really want. So you want the nice car, you want whatever you want, you have to go through the tough times to become a strong person that can create what you want. All the things you want in your life are possible, but it's within you not seeing these obstacles, these bad things as bad things, but as opportunities to create who you're meant to be. Okay? And so for one of the things that I did after I was diagnosed with cancer, it sucked, right? Why me? Why is this happening to me? The next thing that happened, I was going through a lot of depression. I didn't know what to do with my life. I was taking this pill. It really woke me up in a lot of things. It's like, these friends really my friends. I went through all these things. I was really looking for companionship. I really felt like nobody was there for me. People were there for me, but I felt like I didn't have that person in my life. And I remember at this time, I faced a lot of rejection. Like, I was shooting my shot with a lot of girls. I'm not going to lie. Facing a lot of rejection, okay? I was shooting my shot with girls in college. They wasn't rocking with me, okay? I was like, what the heck? I know I don't look ugly, you feel me? But I was dealing with a lot of rejection. But what we will think as rejection is two things. It can be you're ugly. It can mean life sucks. Life's against you. You could think all these bad things. And shoot, I was thinking them. But what if rejection is keeping you available for the right one? So a lot of times we will look at things surface level and say, man, she rejected me, or the job rejected me, and I suck, life sucks, everything's against me negative. But what if there's something better for you, but if you were able to not get rejection here, you wouldn't be available for what you were meant for? And so a lot of times we have to realize not only is rejection not this, it's this. Or even better, it's allowing us to stop fearing it And I'm just using this example of this part of my life. This is for everything. It's not just rejection, it's everything. Sometimes what we go through is preparing us to not fear it anymore. Sometimes what we go through is allowing us to become a stronger version of ourselves that then allows us to not have to face this. There's all these different things that are happening in our life that has opened up possibilities for us. But I need you to understand, whatever you're going through, whatever is happening, there's two sides of the coin to look at it. You can look at it as it blocking your path. You can look at it as life is against you. You can look at it as things aren't going my way, or maybe it is going your way. You just haven't seen the full plan yet, okay? But by you not trusting the plan, you may be blocking the plan. So sometimes the blocking of the path isn't the obstacle, it's your perspective of the obstacle. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Sometimes the blocking of your path isn't the obstacle, it's your perspective of the obstacle. Somebody write that down. I guess I'll write it down for you. No, that's too long to write down. But sometimes I can't say it again. We gotta know what I'm trying to say. It's your perspective of the obstacle that creates the blocking of your path, not the actual obstacle. So if you look at it the right way, it'll create the path. It'll allow the path. Okay. And so I want to create a chart for the easy life and the hard life, to put it simply. I think this marker's going out. That's why I bought new markers. So I want to paint what an easy life looks like. Ooh, this draws different. Easy life. Okay. Hard life. I'm just going to do a quick chart. Hard life. I kind of like the other marker better. This is like, but anyways, okay, hard life. This is an easy life. Okay, let's use my life as an example. Let's say a lot of these things didn't happen, okay? Let's say instead of getting rejected, I stay right here. Okay, life is good. I go up a little bit. Okay, life is good. Life is good, but I never face any pain. Things will keep happening, and I'll keep staying right here. Maybe I'll dip a little bit. I'm never growing. I'm just kind of staying in this okay lane. But when life gets hard, let's say you get rejected, things suck, right? Things suck. You're like, why is this happening to me? But when you get this low, you end up having to fight. You're learning, you're becoming a better version of yourself. Now you have all of these things inside of you, and it's going to propel you all the way up here. But the easy life, it keeps you right here, and it slowly but surely takes you down. But when you go through the hard life, right here, you're being prepared. You're being sculpted. You're learning who you are. You're becoming the person you're meant to. You're getting perspective, and it propels you to a life you could have never imagined, okay? And I know this looks very simple, but this is the difference. A hard life propels you, allows you to learn who you are, but without it, you don't become. For me, I was facing rejection, okay? I was facing rejection, but then I was able to find the person I was meant for. And then I had this amazing experience, okay? But then you know what happened again? Sometimes on the hard life, it'll take you on highs again, but then all of a sudden, Shorty broke up with me, and I'm back here again. I'm like, dang, I would have been cool staying here for a while, the rest of my life. But then I got broken up with and things were hard. And I thought, why is this happening to me again? I'm feeling bad again. But then when I was in this moment, I was graduating college. I had this girlfriend that was everything to me. And I was just like, you know what? I just work a job just to keep her. And I'll go home, work, and come back just to see her. Everything, I'll just take this. But life sometimes has a plan that's better for you, that's more than you could imagine. She broke up with me. All this happened. I'm at rock bottom again. But all of a sudden at rock bottom, I'm like, okay, I ain't got no choice but to go hard, but to go for what I want. I ain't got nobody else to go hard for but myself. End up winning hard, built a business. Now I travel the country doing what I love to do every single day, making thousands of dollars in 30 minutes speaking at a school. Life is amazing because I kept going through these rock bottom moments. It forced me to learn who I was. It forced me to become. If you never go through anything hard, you'll just have this stagnant line that's slowly declining. Let's look at this line. This line isn't further than that line. You're slowly declining, but you're just saying, okay, this is just what life is supposed to be. It's okay. You know what I mean? I'll just take this. I'm settling. But the hard life, you're going to have rock bottoms. You're going to take risks. You're going to say, you know what? I'm going to go for this. I'm going to quit my job. You know what? I'm going to stop messing with this girl that I know isn't allowing me to become the best version of me. You're going to hit rock bottom. Somebody's going to leave. Whatever it may be, these things are all preparing you for becoming whoever you're meant to be, okay? And I need you to understand this. And once I started to understand this concept, something else changed in the way I did certain things in my life. I'm not going to assume that the people watching this video are all religious, all believe in God. But I just want you to take what I'm about to say, not as like this is what you should be doing, but just to show you my perspective shift, okay? One of the things I do every single day, at least 2 to 3 times, is I meditate and I pray. But the way I did it in the past is different than the way I do it now. Before, when I used to pray, I used to say things like, I pray this happens. Ooh, my belly is grumbling. Oh my goodness. I pray this happens, okay? But now, after understanding that these hard times, these difficult times, these things I don't understand, these things I don't want to happen per se, have built me into the person I'm meant to be, you know what I say now? I pray that whatever is supposed to happen happens. Because now I'm detached from the short-term result. I'm detached from things happening the way I want them to go because I don't know what's the best way they can go. Ooh. I detach from where I want it to go because I don't, dang this alone, don't know the best way it can go. Ooh, y'all gotta write that down. I know I got bad handwriting. I detach from where I want it to go because I don't know the best way it can go. I have horrible handwriting. But you see what I mean? Once I started realizing that, man, these things that are happening to me, these things that suck, these rejections, these pains I'm dealing with, they were exactly the thing that was supposed to happen. Without me going through a cancer diagnosis, I would have never, went to try out other things. I would have never realized how valuable life is. Without me facing rejection, I wouldn't have found this girl that really helped me out in some of my darkest times. And then without her leaving me, I would have never chased out my bigger dreams that I didn't even know I had. And now I would have never impacted all these people and talked to over 35 states, different schools all across the country, impacted over 200,000 students. All this happened because all these things that were quote unquote bad happened, and it forced me into different paths that were actually the one meant for me, not the one I thought I wanted. And so I need you to understand, whatever you're going through, don't judge it. Don't judge the present when you don't understand the future. There's things happening to you right now that may seem bad that are exactly what you need to happen for you to reach your fullest purpose, your fullest potential. So, ooh, I'm hungry. I always like to do these videos before I eat because I can talk empty and I feel like I can be a vessel, but sometimes I get really hungry. But I have one more lesson for you guys. It's also really important when you understand this concept because it helps me be able to, because the thing is this is an easy thing to say, what I'm saying. Ooh, it's not coming off well. But it's an easy thing to say, yeah, like, yo, in the future it's all gonna pan out. But something else that also helps me to power through these moments is another perspective, is another realization. It's the yin and yang perspective, okay? The yin and yang basically says that, let me try to do it better. Without the light, there's no darkness. Without the darkness, there's no light. And so basically, it's duality. Without you having this, you wouldn't appreciate this. So basically, without the bad times, you would never know that the good times are the good times. The good times would just be the good times, okay? And so what I realized is, without things sucking, I wouldn't appreciate things not sucking. You see what I mean? So if you never felt pain, you wouldn't know what not pain feels like, if that makes sense. For example, I like to say, like, whenever I have like a really bad stomach ache, I'm like, yo, now I appreciate times where I don't have a stomach ache. You feel me? But it's until you have a stomach ache that you will realize how dope it is not to have a stomach ache. It's in the absence. People like to say, like, you didn't know what you had until you lost it because you don't know the other side of the coin. And so what you have to realize when you're going through this pain, it's allowing you to enjoy the light. So without the rejection, without the cancer diagnosis, without this girl leaving me, I wouldn't be able to appreciate when I do have somebody in life. I wouldn't be able to appreciate when I don't have cancer or I am living a healthy life. Whatever your negative is also, even if it's not giving you a lesson, it's giving you perspective of how to appreciate it. One of the keys to living a fulfilling life, one of the keys to actually being happy is being grateful. And you have to be able to have the perspective of being grateful, okay? And so whatever you're going through, understand is actually giving you the perspective to actually enjoy whatever you have. It's really hard to enjoy something if you don't know what it's like not to have it, okay? And so while you're going through life, I need you to also know, this is how I'm going to finish. I need you to know it's never going to be perfect. Things are never going to be exactly the way you want it to be. You're never going to be able to have zero problems. There's always a problem. Part of being a human being, part of living on earth, is there's constant problems, constant challenges. Instead of looking at it as like I'm trying to get it to the point where I don't have any of those things anymore, look at it as one, that's something that gives me the opportunity to grow, but it's also something that gives me the perspective to be grateful for what I have. But if you never are grateful, if you're constantly waiting for things to be perfect, for you to be grateful, for you to be happy, then you've been living your whole life on hamster wheels, chasing something that'll never end. So I need you to be grateful for what you have right now. I need you to be grateful for your problems because they give you opportunities. I need you to understand if you don't have any of these obstacles, you won't become the person you're supposed to become. And if you can't be grateful for all the things, the good and the bad, you'll never be able to appreciate this cool thing we're all getting to live, and that's life. And I don't know what the other side of life is, what death is, but that mystery should make you maximize this even more, okay? So every single day you're going through things, don't look at them as bad things. Look at them as the path, not blocking the path. Because if you look at them as blocking the path, it's not the obstacle that's blocking the path, it's you that's blocking the path. That was a cold bar, okay? If y'all want more content where you're able to learn about how to become a better version of yourself, to find what you love to do, to create an income or create a life through what you love to do, or find success through what you love to do, I have more videos on that. I drop videos every single day, Monday, and not every single day, every Monday and Thursday. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all on the next video. Peace.